What's up YouTube? I'm Marcus here. As you can see, there's another styrofoam box in front of the video camera. That means I was out today doing my favorite thing, and that's obviously buying fish. Today was a pretty special day. I ended up picking up a species that is extremely rare and pretty much almost unavailable here in North America. So I'll get to that, and I'll mention the name, and I'll also put a description of those fish, you know, large, nice, mature adult specimens in the description box below to give you an idea what they turn out to be like. But needless to say, a real rarity, and like I said, very fortunate to run across them today. So I might as well get right to the box. Start with this big bag, and as you can see, this is probably about a 6-inch or close to a 6-inch Luwino reef. I think they were classified as Chilumba zebras before. I think now they're all categorized under Phanzelberii. Again, I could be saying it wrong. It's a little bit confusing, but these are the giant zebras of the Mbuna group. And I've seen some specimens probably in around the 8-inch mark, maybe even slightly larger. So I did recently have a couple people ask me if I was still keeping my Maison reefs. The Maison reefs is just a different locale of these guys. They look slightly different, but I can never go too long without holding or keeping any of these former Chilumba type zebras. So nice pickup. Like I said, he was just sitting there looking at me, so I figured I'd take him home. I'll save the best for last. This fish that you see here, this is Copadichromis trewavasae from the locale of Lupingu. I did an unboxing video of these guys maybe 2 years ago, but the ones that I picked up were wild caught, and they just didn't do too well in my tank. So I've been looking for this species again, and this one I believe are F1s, so they come from wild parents. But any of you who are familiar with the Lupingus, they are just outstanding. Basically, half the body will go like the fluorescent, fluorescent shiny blue that you see on a lot of peacocks and haps, and the other half of the body will be basically black. So the blue with the contrasting black makes this fish very beautiful, and again, depending on the locale that they come from will determine the amount of blue in the body. So in my opinion, the ones from Lupingu, no question, are the nicest in the group. And this looks to be like a nice young male that I look forward to possibly growing out and breeding. Have to let some of these fish calm down, almost hard to identify. All right. And this is just the female of the male I just showed you. So she'll go over here. I also picked up these, which were a very nice surprise. These are, you could almost categorize these into a pretty rare lot at the moment. These are a Lethrinops species, and they're considered or called, I think, the locale of Monkey Bay. There are a few YouTubers that have this species, and they look like a true delight. Unlike some of the other Lethrinops, this one will develop some of that beautiful yellow facing and masking. And I've seen some males, or basically some adult specimens here on YouTube, and ever since I saw them, this fish has been basically in the back of my mind. So running across these are also a very, how can I say, special bonus for today. So look forward to these ones growing out in the future. You'll probably become a very popular fish you'll see in the hobby. This is just one of the pair. I picked up another pair of firefish, you know, slash dragon bloods. I do that time to time because I like to keep the gene pool rich of whatever I'm breeding. And the male is quite the stunner. And these are German raised. So these are all, most of these fish are all from Germany. So again, these won't be hormoned like some of the other fish that I have picked up in the past. But you can see, and the second part of this video, like I always do a follow-up on showing you guys how everything settled in. But you can see that this fish at about 3 1/4 inches is showcasing some beautiful coloration and pattern. So if I can introduce him into my gene pool, I imagine that my future fry will look very, very nice. So that said, you know, it's not going to look too spectacular. I'm not going to go through every single bag because these are just going to be silver fish because they're juvenile. But I will grab the largest. And you're like, oh wow, Marcus, that looks so so rare, this silverfish. You know, you see your local fish shops full of them. And what this is a Copadichromis virginalis firecrest. And anybody who is an avid cichlid keeper, especially with you know, keeping in mind this species, you know, you'll know how rare and difficult these are to find. There is one gentleman here on YouTube, and I showcased his line of firecrest in the past. Like I said, I will add a link to them in the description below, but they are just an outstanding fish, and pretty much up until this point, practically impossible to find here. So that said, you know, it's an extremely rare cichlid. There are some, I think there has been a couple farms that have passed off maybe a different variant of virginalis and kind of classified them as firecrest. I know there was some of the more common gold crest people have been fooled with in the past, but these are the real deal. I seen the parents on site, and again, this is going to be one that I'm looking forward to growing out for the near future. And all I can say is the males are just outstanding. They'll go basically pitch midnight black with a deep fire red crest throughout the dorsal fins. So just an amazing fish. Like I said, at this size, they're just juveniles. Nothing too crazy to look at now, but like I said, I will add the description to the adult video in the description box below. So make sure you click on it and make sure you check them out because these are definitely worth mentioning. So let's let all the other fish settle in and let's get to the second part of the video. So here's the virginalis and the monkey bay Lethrinops, just a bunch of juvenile silver fish. They're sitting right now in a quarantine tank, and there's a couple other little juveniles from some of my own previous batches that escaped the net. Normally I like to transport the fish that are in an aquarium out of it when I introduce new aquarium fish, just in case disease is introduced. But again, these fish were basically bred on site, so you know they're probably extremely healthy to begin with. It's just I don't like to take chances. So as you can see, you know, there's no indication or very slight indication of what a male and a female might look like for these firecrests. But I find half of the fun of growing out cichlids is buying them as juvenile and watching them turn into adults. So these seem to be pretty good size. The largest male here is probably about 3 inches. So I imagine probably within about an inch from now, he'll probably start developing some of his maturing color. You know, like I said, the virginalis firecrest, the true ones, are very hard to get. There has been some imposters over the years, and I've done some research since then. You know, I was checking out the forums on previous threads on these fish, and there's basically a couple different locales, and you know, formerly one of the other locales was being distributed and marked as firecrest, and those males, or how can I say, those adults typically would turn out larger, duller, you know, grayish brown, and would not develop the beautiful coloration that these individuals will turn into. So you know, again, if you're out looking for this fish and hunting it down, just make sure it comes from a reputable source. like I said, I know the lineage of these fish. They came from Holland, and you know, I did showcase the breeder's colony in the video in the description box. So like I said, I know where they come from, so I can verify that they are the real thing. But anybody out there looking to buy them, just be careful. They're not cheap fish. And you know, it's pretty funny that this little tiny tank with 8 individuals is, how can I say, the price in this aquarium is quite high. So I'll make sure that they get special care and good feeding, top quality, or how can I say, I'll keep the water top quality, just because, like I said, there is a fair little investment in this aquarium. Here's the monkey bays. You can see this is probably a young male, well, probably definitely a male. He's got the little bit of egg spotting in his anal fin. Probably a female, could possibly be a male. I did pick up a trio. I did the best that I could by sexing them just by looking at them. I really hope to get a pair out of this, and if they breed for me, that will be a bonus. So that's the monkey bay and the virginalis. Let's move to the next tank. So here are the Copadichromis Lupingus. There's the male and female. Again, some remainder fry that I've been growing out. Since they're small, they're going to be harmless, but you know, more fish in the tank gives these fish confidence. So whenever, you know, the fish are making a transition into a new environment, if there's a lot of activity and some, you know, how can I say, some confident little fish in the aquarium to go with them, it will really help them when it comes to feeding and gaining the new fish's confidence. So yeah, you know, these guys look good. He's probably at the size, you can see some of the blue coming in on him. It won't be too long before he's basically fully mature. So I look forward to that. And down below, here's the firefish. And you know, I'm really into the dragon bloods, the OBs. I really love these types of fish. But this firefish is just insane. You know what? I bought him yesterday just because I thought he looked good, and I thought, oh, you know, it'd be nice to add some genetics to what I have already. But this guy is just unbelievable. And again, if he's German raised, I pretty much guarantee that he's not hormoned. And considering that he's probably just over 3 inches and then showcasing this unbelievable color. Again, this guy was classified as a firefish. Firefish, dragon blood, strawberries, technically all the same. It just comes down to maybe the color intensity. But this guy is just incredible. Maybe I can scroll in a little closer. But super clean. I think if you Google image dragon bloods or, you know, firefish, there's a picture of one there that just looks identical to this guy. And again, that photo I always thought was enhanced, but now seeing one of these guys, again, I have dragon bloods and I've had a little bit of everything. And the ones I have are, you know, very good, high quality. But this guy, like I said, if he retains this, which I believe he will, it's just going to be a different level. So you know what, like I said, I bought him just because, but when I put him into the tank here last night, I just couldn't believe the coloration. So either way, those are the firefish technically and the Lupingus. So let's go take a look at the Chilumba zebra. So here's the last fish, formerly Chilumba zebra, sorry. The Luwino Reef. And again, like I said, he's probably close to 6 inches, full adult. He's right now currently in this quarantine aquarium. Like I said, I like to quarantine everything, despite how healthy they look and the tanks that they come from. He's again right beside my fry grow outs. But I'll give this guy a good 3 to 4 weeks just to make sure he's perfect. And you know, definitely like to add him to one of my larger aquariums. Maybe the tiger tank, or maybe my 120-gallon display tank in my living room. But either way, he'll find his way into one of the larger aquariums. A little shy, hiding out behind the sponge filter. But I will promise, you know, to do a profile video of this guy once he is fully settled in. So either way, those are the fish, and everything looks like they've so far settled in quite nicely, and I imagine that they'll do so into the future. So thank you for watching.